Moviesucktastic is a podcast about bad movies and the people that love them. But it's more than just a podcast, it's also an online presence. If you want to know more about Moviesucktastic or want to become a part of Moviesucktastic, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter at Moviesucktastic, you can find our blog at boothreviews.blogspot.com, or if you want to give your own reviews that we might use on the show, you can go to reviews.moviesucktastic.com and check out our own little lunch.com community for Moviesucktastic. Check us out and become a part of the show, because the only thing more fun than a bad movie is sharing it.
With a click, with a shock, funnel to the doorway knock, under the light. Something's coming from the way,
From the beginning of motion picture history, Hollywood has tried to show you what the afterlife is really like.
Good afternoon and welcome to Judgment City.
You have any idea what's going on?
No?
Well, in a nutshell, you're here to defend your life, and I'm going to help you.
Defend my life?
Finally,
Wow!
the first true story of what happens after you die.
Where am I? Is this heaven?
No, it isn't heaven.
Is it hell?
Actually, there is no hell. Although I hear Los Angeles is getting pretty close.
Didn't anyone ever tell you you carry yourself very stiffly?
Leave me alone, I'm dead. That's life.
Albert Brooks,
You make me think of my little poodle.
Meryl Streep,
I think I might have been a heavyset man at one time.
Rick Torn, Lee Grant, Buck Henry, in a new film by Albert Brooks.
So I'm on trial for being afraid.
Well, first of all, I don't like to call it a trial. Second of all, yes.
If you see one movie before you die,
I love you.
I love you!
This is damn exciting stuff.
see Defending Your Life.
Most people love it. Some it makes nauseous. Don't worry about it.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Dude, no! Oh!
Hi. Hello.
Unmute. Hello, how are you?
How's y'all doing out there?
Welcome to Moviesucktastic.
That's right. That's right. This week we're going to review Defending Your Life. My challenge to Scott. Oh, yes.
Defending Your Life is on trial.
It is.
At Moviesucktastic.
Shit. Hold on a second.
Now what?
Hold on, I'm adjusting.
Adjust this. Come on. What are you doing? I have a viewer complaint.
Really?
It was pointed out to me that during the show, if you're watching the live stream video cast, whatever the fuck you want to call it, of the show,
yeah,
watching us visually as opposed to orally, I am facing front and talking to my cell phone as it goes off in the background because I have not turned the volume down. I am talking forward towards the audience, towards the camera. They're looking at the screen. I'm looking back at them. You, however, are constantly at a 45-degree angle, ignoring everybody and just, looking at something off in the distance.
Yeah, that's the way I like it.
Yeah, you need to.
I don't need to do shit.
You do. We need to be facing.
No.
No.
I don't. I'll think about it. How about that?
How about at least when you're talking to this, talking?
Listen, I got a lot of pots boiling over here. All right, just don't give me any shit.
Just
a lot of pots boiling over here.
Just glance over at the audience when you're talking. That's all. Just the occasional. Let them know that they're there.
Oh, is that it?
That's all. That's just a little. They just want to feel loved.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Hi, everybody. How are you?
See, there you go. Don't you feel better?
I don't. I really don't.
You should. You should.
No, I don't. And not for anything, but the box of me, what is it? 2 inches by 3 inches? Is it really that big of a deal?
Well, it's 2 inches by 3 inches big of a deal.
I'll tell you what. The webcam is here. Now that I have 2 full-size widescreen monitors here, I can move it there. You know what? I'll do it right now. How about that?
That would be ducky.
Let's play techie right now. All right? Let's do that. Let's fuck around with it.
For those listening, imagine Joey moving stuff on his desk.
That's right. Oh, yeah. Here's a good view of my hand. You like that?
I like it. Here's my hand. Here, now we match.
How's that? Here, I got to see what that looks like.
That's much better. Look at that.
Is that better?
Just zoom in a bit on you.
I could zoom in.
The background is slightly less messy now than it was previously.
All right. Is everyone fucking happy now?
Man, you're in your basement. I'm in my attic. This is like 2 levels of sadness.
Yeah. I feel like I'm being looked down upon.
I'm still now. I'm probably being a bit over exuberant right now. I'm just coming. I'm still getting over a double extraction of teeth. Shut up. And it's taking a very long time to heal. So I'm currently in a little pain.
Just a little.
So I'm going to try to keep the jabbering down. So I'm going to let you do some more talking than normal.
Oh, great.
Well, this is your film. This is what you wanted to see. You like?
I love this movie. I truly do.
And I do not hate this film. Let me just say that.
And I didn't think you would, but I was hoping that after maybe another viewing, you'd really get, or at least remember just how good it really is.
Well, I will say this. I'm glad you had me watch the film because it does remind me that watching something 20 years later as a 40-year-old, I am watching the film on a different level, and I do appreciate things in the film that I didn't before. I still have my problems with the film, but I do appreciate it more so now than I did when I was younger and thought it was just stupid.
Oh, you did? You didn't like it at one point?
No, and I thought it was just kind of lame when I was younger, and I still think it's lame a little bit, but not much.
Okay, all right. But
I do have more appreciation for what was trying to be done there, and that comes into play.
Okay.
And we'll discuss that a little bit.
All right. And what's to be said about just individual performances. Rip Torn, probably, I don't want to say my absolute favorite performance by him ever, but it's up there. Captain Scully from Summer Rental is one of my all-time favorite Rip Torn performances. This one is.
After the career that man's had, you're going to bring up Summer Rental.
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
I'd almost say you'd be a fool not to challenge it to me, but...
Oh, shit, that's right. I have to challenge you something back, don't I?
You didn't. You didn't do any homework, did you? No, you didn't.
No, we're good. We're good.
We're good? You got something on mind? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Is it Taxi Driver? No.
No.
Anyway, I challenged this to Scott because of Oh, I can't remember her name now, but I have the IMDb up. The actress, her name is... look at me.
Ha.
Do you remember
Unprepared.
No, I'm not unprepared. Well, kind of.
Unprepared.
Lee Grant. She was in Visiting Hours, which Scott challenged to me last week. And I was going back and forth with myself with who she was. I knew she looked familiar, and her voice was really familiar. And then all of a sudden, it hit me that she was one of the attorneys in Defending Your Life. And she was the one prosecuting Albert Brooks to try and send him back to Earth to try again, to live another life, so that he... Because the whole plot of the film is that when you die, you go to this place called Judgment City, where you're...
Which is kind of a purgatory, in a sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you go there to defend your life. They look at X amount of days, and you will, have a defending attorney. You'll have a prosecuting attorney. And the whole point is, are you ready to move on? Are you ready to take that next step past the life that you just led? And if you're not, you'll go back to Earth and you try it again. So that is, in a nutshell, the plot, or I should say, the what Judgment City is, which I think is a brilliant concept. I really do.
Well, it's an interesting concept because it's taken your typical heaven, idea of heaven, and removing it from Judeo-Christian concepts of the afterlife, and kind of, it doesn't replace it, but it mixes it up with your more Hindu-related aspects of reincarnation and eternal life over and over again. So that's interesting in itself, and that's one thing that really set it apart for me watching it now as an adult with thoughts, and being 40 years old and closer to death. That brings that thought up too. Now, in the film, Rip Torn, which, by the way, one of our viewers just pointed out that Rip Torn Mayax in Beastmaster.
Oh, God, that's right.
Which I totally forgot about, so I'm embarrassed.
Holy shit. And I think, didn't you mention Beastmaster last week? That could have been a challenge anyway?
Okay, I guess, I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
But,
that's
crazy. Rip Torn's character in the film, when it's introduced through him, that the whole idea that he says, the whole purpose of being human and becoming a spirit and moving on is of becoming smarter. The whole idea is moving on and growing as an individual, and they put a lot on the whole smart thing. They call newly dead people little brains. They only use 3% of their brain. More on that later. And Rip Torn used like 47% of his brain or something like that. 48%, and 50% of their brains. And they said the whole idea is you need to become smarter. And one of the things they do when they test them in Judgment City is to see if they have overcome fear, because fear is one of the big things that holds you back from becoming smarter. And what I like about it is that Albert Brooks is a layered filmmaker. You watch all of his films, and there is a lot in there about human growth and human development, personal growth. And even though they put the emphasis on smart, and they make jokes later on about how'd you know it was hers? You're not getting the whole big brain thing, are you? There's a lot of that joking. But he's reading binary on his papers instead of letters because they're smart, so they can read binary code. But that kind of masks what they're saying, because they're saying smart, and you're thinking smart as in smart people, intelligent, knowing things, facts and memorization, things like that. But what they're really getting at is smart as in self-realization and self-knowledge. Becoming smarter really means becoming more aware and more in tune with yourself. I mean, at one point, Rip Torn's eating the smart people food,
right?
And Albert Brooks tries something that tastes horrendous, and he says, when you're using this much of your brain, you can manipulate your senses, meaning you can control how you feel and experience things, which means you become more in tune with yourself. So there's a metaphor there hiding under the jokes and the humor about the big brains and the little brains, the whole idea that to grow spiritually, you need to understand yourself and understand why the reasons you do things, which is the sole purpose of this whole trial thing that Albert Brooks' character Daniel goes through in the film.
Right. And not to, trump anything you just said, but you overlooked one of the best lines in the film when he is eating that, and Albert Brooks is like, come on, let me try it. He's like, you're not going to like it. He's like, come on, just let me try it. He goes, all right, go ahead and try it. And he almost vomits right there. And he's kind of tastes like shit, huh? Gotta love Rip fucking Torn. Gotta love.
Again, Albert Brooks wrote the film, obviously, too.
Yeah, right.
It's got that kind of those lines too, where Rip Torn says, "I tell you where I'm going, but you wouldn't understand. I don't mean that as an insult. I mean you literally wouldn't understand."
Or how about when he's late, and he's like, "Why were you late?" He goes, "You wouldn't understand." He's like, "No, why were you late? Come on, you can tell me. Stop treating me like a moron." And I forget exactly what he said. I have an audio clip of it.
I know what it is.
Okay, go ahead.
Let me see if I can remember it. I was trapped on the outer layer, the outer circle of fault.
Thought.
I thought it was fault.
I'm pretty sure it's thought. Now that you've reminded me, I have the audio clip.
Play that back. Oh yeah, we'll play it.
I have audio from the movie.
You want to play that right now?
Yeah, sure. Let me see if I can find it. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready.
Well, get ready, goddammit.
I wasn't ready.
You had pots going.
I got lots of pots going. Oh, you know what? It's in a tribute video where it's got like a bunch of different great scenes from it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So you're not prepared.
I am, but I'm not.
Ow, that hurt.
I do have the little brain scene if you want to listen to that.
Sure.
Yeah? All right, let's go with the little brain scene.
Use as much of your brain as possible. For example, I use 48% of my brain. You know how much you use?
Turn it up.
47? 3.
I'm sorry?
3.
I use 3% of my brain?
Yes, don't worry about it. Everybody on Earth uses 3% of their brain. 3 to 5%. That's why they're there.
3%? 3%? You mean nobody on Earth uses more than that?
When you use more than 5% of your brain, you don't want to be on Earth. Now, being from Earth as you are and using as little of your brain as you do, your life has pretty much been devoted to dealing with fear.
It has?
Everybody on Earth deals with fear. That's what little brains do.
What are little brains?
That's what we call you folks behind your back.
No, Rip Torn's delivery makes the character, and you can almost.
Oh, wait! This is the.
Oh my God! A little like horse shit, huh?
What's that? Come on.
All right, and then that's like a best of. So.
Okay.
Little brains.
Yeah, you can almost feel that the character was written for Rip Torn by Albert Brooks.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't doubt it with the relationship that Albert Brooks had with Larry Sanders. Not Larry Sanders, Gary Shandling. But then Rip Torn went on to go do the Larry Sanders show. It's all this inner circle.
Sure.
So yeah, I wouldn't doubt if he wrote it exactly in mind for him.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. That spirituality aspect of the film does lend more to the movie watching it now. Now, one thing I did read about is the scene where he's in the nightclub in Judgment City, where the comedian's on stage doing poorly, and he asks him, "How did you die?" And he said, "On stage like you."
Right.
Apparently, Albert Brooks' father actually died on stage while doing a roast.
Oh no shit! I didn't know that.
And then later when he says, "Oh, I can't leave. That's my father." So it's like a really kind of dark inside joke with himself, putting that in the film. But also, I mean, it's taking the humor and showing the underlying realization of mortality in there.
Right.
So there's a lot of deep stuff going on that level.
Huh. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I like when you dig up little.
Father died on stage.
No.
Horrible.
You know what I mean. Jesus.
I know.
One of the other things that I always, and it was probably because I grew up as a little fat kid, you know, was the fact that you could eat anything, you don't gain weight, you could just totally overindulge on anything. And I always thought that was kind of a neat aspect. That, you know what, if you die, you should be able to do that. Why the fuck not?
That's one of the problems I had with the film.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Because it just seems...
Everything is just tastes so fucking good. It comes out, you know, fast. You don't have to wait.
There's such an emphasis put on that above anything else.
Yeah.
That it feels like an easy joke, and it's not even that funny.
No, it's really
and
not.
Also, the idea of seeking spiritual enlightenment while at the same time gorging yourself, one of the 7 deadly sins, just seems out of character.
Well, I think the reason, and again, I'm speculating, but I think one of the reasons why he did that is because on Earth, you know, you're in this body, and you're told, and you should, you know, eat healthier and exercise, and you know, try and do all that. And it's like, you know what? When you're dead,
a lot of things.
Well, yes, but when you're dead, it's all of that's thrown out the window. You don't have to worry about it anymore.
I think it's really in there just to give, fucking losing my mind here.
You okay?
Yeah. What the fuck? What's her name?
What, Meryl Streep?
Meryl Streep. How am I forgetting Meryl Streep?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Because she's not listed. You know why? Because she's not listed in the fucking cast.
Of course she is.
I'm looking at the IMDb list, and her name is not there.
Yes, it
under
is.
Cast.
It's you gotta click. You gotta click to extend it.
Right. How did the waitress get billing over her in there? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I don't know how that.
She's the lead actress. And,
well, it's
and
in
she's
order.
Not on the front page.
I'm assuming that means by appearance in the film. Sometimes they do that.
But first build, cast overview, first build only. I mean, she wasn't billed ahead of the waitress.
No. I think the IMDb listing is doing it the way they did it in the film, where it's in order by appearance. Like all of these other people were before her in the film, right?
In parentheses, next to cast overview, first build only. She should be at the top there. That's how they do it.
What I'm looking at after I extend it, it says cast in credits order, verified is complete. Or the most important thing is in credits order.
That's when you do to see more.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's different. That's not what I'm talking about.
I know that's not what you're talking about, but obviously that's the way IMDb did it once you extend the cast. I'm not saying it's right.
I think the whole eating thing was put there to give Meryl Streep something to do as the female lead of the film. Meryl Streep, in an interview, said that she did not feel that Albert Brooks had written a full female character here, but she took it because she thought the film was kind of cute, and she decided something, didn't have anything else to do. But she pretty much said it was a weak female character, but she did it regardless. And it is a weak female character. There's really nothing holding her character together except the little things that are supposed to be cute to Albert Brooks' character. And one of those is the fact that, she's a woman that loves to eat. And it's really almost like it was just done to give her something else to do.
It's possible.
I mean, I don't think consciously like that's what he said, but I think it's how it incorporated into it feels like it's how it incorporated into that.
Right.
Now one thing I can say is when you're watching the film and you're thinking about this kind of humor about death and everything, Woody Allen comes into mind, and I started thinking to myself, I could see Woody Allen doing this type of film. What do you think?
Oh yeah. Oh, I didn't realize you left the gap for me to talk. Definitely. And again,
it won't happen again.
Yeah. And that's absolutely right. I mean, you could see Woody Allen doing his own little take on this, or just even films that he has done where it has like little elements like this, and you can and plus Albert Brooks is from the same, era as Woody Allen. They're both kind of directing their own feature films around the same time. Albert Brooks did some more major features a little bit after, but and I think they also know each other pretty well too.
Sure,
they're chums.
Well, but the one thing I will say is when following that train of logic, Albert Brooks's humor is very low key, very subtle. So he's not going for a lot of big gags. Whereas Woody Allen, if he had done it, you could definitely see it more of the packed one-liners, sight gags. It would have been a lot. There would have been more going on. It would have been busier with a lot of cheap shots.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would have preferred that over this personally.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think Albert Brooks. You get that kind of feel that it would be something that Woody Allen would do, but he definitely wouldn't take the kind of subtle approach. And then maybe that's the one thing that kills the film is on the fact that it turns into a love story is maybe a bit too subtle of an approach, because it becomes a bit. Cause, again, there's not much there. There's no real. What chemistry is there between the two of them, besides just. Again, Meryl Streep, there's not much to it. Albert Brooks is the full-rounded character.
And this, for me anyway, this is as close to a rom-com as I'm ever going to get, ever. This is one of my absolute all-time favorite films ever.
I would like to bet that one of the the concept of the film came from an idea of having heaven being like a screening room. Because he's in Hollywood, the whole thing about the screening rooms and watching the dailies, that kind of thing, and the idea of taking heaven and having it when you go to heaven, you just watch dailies from your life.
Sure, it sounds totally plausible.
Well, because it's very similar to what they do. Is in the film, they have to defend their life by watching footage from because all lives are filmed. And then you have to go back and watch key segments that either support or are against the concept of you having grown as a human being or becoming smarter at overcoming fear.
Right. And I have I do have some audio that does a couple of those things. I don't have like a ton. I just have a couple of my favorite scenes, like in the sushi bar where he goes and he talks to the guy next to him and they're talking about how many days each other has, and he orders some sushi. I have that scene. And I have the restaurant scene, which I have mainly because the waiter, what?
I don't know. They just don't seem like that funny of scenes. I don't know.
Well, the reason I picked the restaurant one is because I always found the waiter to be overly Italian.
Well, of course, that's because you're Italian.
But it falls into the Papa Giuseppe, I should be getting angry part of the show that sometimes we do. I've always enjoyed that scene. I don't know why. The banter back and forth between the two, I always found it funny. I don't have to play any audio. You're going to ruin it for everyone, sir.
I'm not ruining it for everyone. I'm just
Here.
Well, what?
I was just going to play the sushi scene and call it, and call it.
Okay.
All right, here's the sushi scene. Where's my video? This is going wonderfully.
Hi.
There's no video. It's just audio. Oh, for Christ's sakes.
Well, scratch that.
I'm going to have to.
Yep.
It'll work in VLC player, but now, you won't be able to hear it, though. Never mind. Forget it.
The idea that they sit in this little viewing room and watch scenes from their life and have to explain themselves.
Right.
I like that. The one thing I wish he hadn't done in the screenplay, because it doesn't make a lot of sense, is they focus on fear being the one thing that all humans have to overcome. And for me, it would have made a bit more sense if it was just specifically something that he had to overcome, and that everybody has their own demons that they had to overcome while they're, to grow. That would have made a bit more sense to me.
I could see that. I could see that.
Having fear as a universal constant, it just doesn't gel that much to me. They kind of just explain it away matter-of-factly.
I could definitely see your point with that. But a lot of people are fear is a big thing amongst a lot of
but
people. So it works. It definitely works.
It's too much of a broad base for it to say all of humanity, everyone that comes here, we have to, make sure that they overcame fear, when there are so many other things to overcome, and each person has their own specific thing. Some people might not be fear, but it might be something else holding them back spiritually.
Right.
I mean, it works for Albert Brooks's character and it works for the film, but I don't think it works as a grand scope. This is it. I also love the whole idea of the afterlife being bureaucracy.
Yeah, sure.
And it kind of plays into the idea. I'm gonna compare this to another film that you probably are not gonna expect anyway. They say when he finally makes it to Judgment City and he says, "Oh, it looks familiar." He says, "Yeah, we did that on purpose. We want to make you feel more comfortable." And I delving more. They're saying, "Oh, we made everything so it seems comfortable, and we tried to make it feel more like Earth." And in some way, I like to think that it goes beyond that, where the reason there is a bureaucracy that takes care of this is that's what we're used to. We're used to being judged and having to go through a bureaucracy and go through red tape and answer to people, and that's how. But really, what's happening is you're doing it yourself. You're judging yourself, and the whole thing is just a huge, act put on to allow you to make you do it. And if you think of that, in the film, they'll show scenes where he's doing bad stuff, or showing fear or making bad decisions, and Rip Torn comes up with these ludicrous, see, he was being noble, and he agrees with, I was being noble, and it's like it's all a trick. It's Rip Torn's putting up these obviously false arguments, and he's backing them, and by him backing these false arguments, it makes him realize that they're false arguments.
Good point. I'm not gonna disagree with any of that.
I'm not sure if it's intended, but taking that concept one further, and also comparing it to another film that involves the afterlife and moving on to the next level, Jacob's Ladder.
I was going to try and guess, and
oh, sorry.
No. I wasn't going to guess that one. I don't know what I was going to guess, but it definitely wasn't going to be Jacob's Ladder. I was going to think about it for a minute and see if I could guess.
I rewatched it recently and did some reading on it, and again, the whole concept of Jacob's Ladder is that this reality he's in is actually like the pathway to heaven, or like purgatory, or whatever. And even these demons that are pursuing him and harassing him seem like demons because they're trying to make him let go of the past. And once he lets go of the past, he's able to move on. Right. And so they're actually not demons. That's the whole double play. And you can take the same thing and apply it to Defending Your Life, where the people that are supposedly judging him are really trying to make him judge himself and come to terms with himself so he can accept it, go beyond it, and move on. So the bureaucracy isn't really a bureaucracy. I'm making the film much more complicated than it needs to be.
I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you talk, and you really are. You're hurting my head here. and here's the crazy part, and this is why I love you. You're not wrong with any of this stuff.
I know that.
And don't take this the wrong way, but I don't care.
Well, this is where I gained enjoyment from the film.
Oh, I understand. Level. Believe me, I get it.
Now, where the film fails for me, two parts where the film fails for me. Okay. Unless you had something else to go in what I was talking about.
Not really. I mean, just it makes you look at it in a, you're right. As you get older, you watch this film again. You look at I watched it again. I looked at it not differently, but you catch little things that you maybe didn't understand, 15, 20 years ago the first time I saw it. And as I get older, you're right. You look at it a little differently. You get things. You might notice. Oh, this is the scene where it's like, oh, that's my father on stage. But you do get things differently as you get older, and this film is a real testament to that.
Sure. Well, like one thing that never occurred to me before is when he's talking to Rip Torn about Judgment City and how everything works, and he asks him, what about the children? And Rip Torn says, children don't have to defend themselves. They get a clear pass. They move right on. So, children aren't reincarnated.
Yeah,
they
it's like-
immediately move on to the next stage.
Isn't that nice?
Nice. Now, if that's the case, where children are pretty much given a free pass, obviously because they haven't had enough time to, learn, grow, etc., so you can't really make them defend the brief time they've had, how come scenes from Daniel's childhood are admissible as evidence in his trial?
The only thing I can go on with that is because he's led an entire life, those scenes, even though he's young and even though he hasn't lived long enough at that exact moment, that attributes to what he's done later in life. If, let's say, he had, let's say, passed at that age, it wouldn't be admissible because it's too young. But because that happened when he was a kid, and it just kept reoccurring, it's like, oh, he was kind of a coward, or he was kind of like wormy because he ratted out the kid. It's just like, and that just kind of built the way he was living his life later on down the line.
But still, as a child, what you're saying is that the child at this point doesn't have the full capacity to grow. So you can't take what the kid did.
All right, but what I'm saying is that, fine, you're right. Yeah, he doesn't have the capacity to grow. If he died right there, it wouldn't matter. But because he's still doing those things from when he was a kid to adulthood, it showed that he didn't grow.
But they're not using as examples. They're using those specific situations as part of the judgment. And whether or not he died,
it's like with any prosecuting case, they're going to use anything they can against you.
But if they don't do kids at all, then they shouldn't do kids even if they're adults now. If he dies the next day after that clip they showed, he wouldn't have to defend it. All of a sudden he has to defend it. It makes no sense, is what I'm saying.
No, I don't think so. I mean, let's not pretend that there's some fine print that we were able to read about what's admissible and what isn't.
Well, he said kids get a free pass.
Yes, I understand. But what I'm saying is, there could very well be, the small print that says, well, if you've lived in, at least to this age, it is admissible because you have lived that long, and because you're a kid and you did this, and it's still affecting your life even as an adult, it can be used.
Now, whether or not the fine print exists, what I'm saying is it doesn't make sense. The logic's not sound. And the other logic...
I don't agree.
How can you not agree?
Everything that I've said it 5 times already.
But it doesn't make. But what you're saying doesn't make any sense because
it makes perfect sense.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, because they're not taking a scene and saying, okay, we're going to show this scene and then show how as a kid you did the same thing. So obviously you haven't grown. No, they're taking this one scene as a kid and saying, how come you didn't defend yourself? You were scared. It's like, okay, yeah. And if I was a scared kid and I died a year later, we wouldn't be doing this because I don't have to defend that. So why am I defending it now?
Yeah, but
it's not shown in context of the future. It was only shown as an individual scene he had to defend. So in that context, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
If they had done it the way
I can see already that I'll talk to him blue in the face, and we'll part ways. Let's agree to disagree. No, you're not right.
I really am.
You're really not.
And the other area where the film breaks off in logic, but it's a comedy, so you can forgive it for doing it.
Okay.
Is at the end when he finally supposedly overcomes his fear by getting out of the bus when he's going to reincarnation and
she's moving
on. Michelle Pfeiffer moving on.
Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
No, what's her name?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, same thing. When Meryl Streep's moving on,
really not.
He gets out of his bus and races after her bus, injuring himself and getting shocked because there's an electromagnetic field around the bus, which makes no sense. It's just a reason to have him get shocked. And they set it up. They set it up in the first 10 minutes of the film too, just so you know why he's getting shocked at the end.
It's a good enough reason.
And that's how he defends his life by standing up and overcoming fear. But technically, the reason he does that is out of fear of living without her and missing that opportunity. So technically, fear is driving him. And if the whole point is to overcome fear, then he should have been able to overcome the fear of that and let her go because it was the right thing.
I'm not going to argue with that. That is a good point, but I don't care.
Again, I said I enjoyed watching the film a second
time.
No,
I know you did. I know you did.
The 2 major flaws.
The first one, No, second one. I'll let you have the second one.
Well, I both are right. Whether or not you give them to me.
No, they're not. I wish we could take live calls. I so wish we could take. I mean, we can take live calls. I just wish we could. Well, never mind. You know what I mean. Anyway.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I mean, it's harder. It's harder to review good films. You know, just
now. Here's something I'm going to bring up.
All right.
And backtracking from the end of the film, and this is obviously something I wouldn't have thought of 20 years ago. The question hits me at the end. Why are there 9 tunnels?
Oh, I don't know.
Why are there 9 tunnels going away when they could have just had like 2 big tunnels, or like, you know, tunnels in different directions, or what have you? Why are there 9 tunnels leading to different parts, like afterlife and reincarnation? Why? There's got to be a reason. Maybe there's not, but I would like to think there's a reason.
I would imagine if we could talk to Albert Brooks, he probably would, you know,
right. I
have
did
an
some research.
explanation.
I did some research. I couldn't find any mention of it. Now, but also keep in mind, he's also defending 9 days. So 9 comes up twice. Where else does 9 come up? 9 also comes up with 9 pies, obviously.
9 pies.
9 comes up again 2 other times that I could find specifically. One with the comedian. The comedian's telling a joke where he says 3 months ago 6 dead people walk in. 3 and 6 is 9. And when he buys the BMW, listen to me, I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
When he buys the BMW, what does he pay for it? $39,000.
Sure, it's just multiples
so you get the
of
3 and the 9.
Yeah.
And 3 is a square root of 9.
Yeah.
And where does 3 come up again in the film? 3 comes up again, you know, with the BMW and the comedians. When he's on the bus to Judgment City, there's 3 billboards they pass to Judgment City. When they first come in the afterlife, people are being wheeled in rows of 3 wheelchairs. Judgment City's info channel is channel 3. When he's on the bus going to the hotel, the old lady asks him 3 times if he had a dog. There's 3 coffee tables on the book before he on the table before he talks to Rip Torn. And what percentage of his brain does he use? 3%.
Yeah. Okay.
So 3, which is a square root of 9, and 9 itself have a recurring theme throughout the film. 5 pops up a couple times, but I can find no reason for that. Also, taking 9, Albert Brooks later did a film called The Muse.
Yep. That was Sharon Stone. Yeah.
Right. And if you know your mythology, you know that there were 9 muses.
I don't know my mythology, but that's very interesting.
If you saw Xanadu, right?
Ugh. Yes, you made me watch it. Yes.
There's 9 muses. You've seen it before. I made you watch it. Don't start that.
You made me rewatch it, you bastard.
Right. But there were 9. There are 9 muses. There's also 9 throughout theology as well. 9 comes up repeatedly. So 9's a number that might or might not have significance in the film for having been put in there.
I wonder if, and I don't know how important it is to you, but I bet we can get an answer out of Albert Brooks. Maybe.
I'll ask next time I see it.
Yeah, sure. Maybe send something his way, or even just because he's got Twitter, and a lot of times if you tweet, you know, these people, they get very interested in your question. It's like, wow, this person no one's ever asked me that before, and I've never explained it. It's kind of like you know, if somebody asked the right way about what was in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino, he might tell you. You know what I mean? And there's all rumblings about what is in that briefcase. But you know, what does the Band-Aid on the back of his head mean? You know, there was all these things. You know,
it means the makeup guy didn't want the mole to distract people.
Have you heard of, you know, what those things would be? Because I've heard rumors about what's in the briefcase.
I told you.
Huh?
I just told you. The reason he has a Band-Aid on the back of his neck is because the makeup person put it there because he had a mole there, and the mole would have distracted people during the scene.
And the Band-Aid doesn't?
Less than the mole. It's again, makeup people know what they're doing. There's a logic to that, believe me. And there's nothing in the briefcase. I mean, there's not specifically anything in the briefcase. I mean, you could say the soul, that whole thing, but it's really just it's a MacGuffin. It doesn't matter.
All right.
If anything, it's linked more to Kiss Me Deadly. I believe that's the name of it. I know the film noir with the plutonium in the briefcase.
They have videos
played off.
videos
What?
online of like scene for scene from like odes that he took from other films that he put in
Sure.
Pulp Fiction and whatnot. The briefcase is a biggie from like you said. Well, anyway, yeah, that's very interesting about the 3s and the 9s and the square root of 3 is 9 and blah blah blah. I never noticed that before. Where did you find that doing research, or did something that you noticed?
No, it just occurred to me. Just occurred to me. It's just the way I think.
I don't think that way when I watch this film. I just sit back and I enjoy it.
Well, again, I mean, it's obvious watching the film, if you look into it, that there's, again, I mean, just the whole thing with his father, that whole comedian thing.
Right.
Oh, excuse me. And the spirituality that's going on there and the whole thing. I mean, there's obviously more to it than Brooks is letting on the surface. Because, again, he's a very subtle writer. And so when I saw the 9 tunnels at the end, it just kind of hit me. Why the hell are there 9 tunnels? It doesn't really make any sense. And then that just backtracked everything else. So I'm tweeting him right now. We'll find out.
That'd be neat. Anything else to add?
Bad? No.
No. Anything else to add?
Oh, kind of exhausted most of it. I mean, it's charming film. It's not, it's not a great film.
No, it is a great film.
It's not great.
No, it's great.
It's
great.
good.
No, it's great.
I would not say great.
No,
it's
great.
No, if they didn't script the whole kid thing, then it'd be great.
No. And stop it with that.
That's right.
Nobody wants to hear it. I think it's a film that everyone should see, and obviously what we do here, you make your own opinion about it. That's what we recommend always. But
as long as you agree with mine.
Anyway, it's rated right now 7.2 on IMDb. And I know we're going to fight about the score. Not that I'm going to give it a 10 or anything. But I think 7... it's 7.2. I personally would give it an 8. I love the film that much.
I'm okay with 7.
And again, if we could go right in the middle, 7.5, I'd be fine with that too. But I think 7's low.
I don't think 7's low at all. I think there's a lot of great films at 7.
No, I think this needs to be an 8.
For 8, it'd have to be a bit smarter.
I think it's charming enough. I think it is smart. And I think your complaint about the kids is wrong.
All right, you're talking to the person that didn't want you to challenge me in the first place. So I've come around the long way from that. Give me the 7. I just feel it's not.
I don't feel comfortable with the 7.
7's a really good number. It's 2 more than 5.
Have we ever given anything an 8?
I don't know. I'm sure we have.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we should start a precedence with this. I don't think it's 8 worthy.
I think it is. Listen, I'll tell you what. Don't rate it in front of me, because it's the only way I won't be annoyed that it got a 7 from us. All right. So, do you have a challenge for me, good sir?
Yes.
And what is your connection?
It was going to be the theme of Afterlife.
Okay.
But our listeners swayed me, and I'm going to go with.
Oh no.
I'm gonna go with Rip Torn as the link.
And it's going to be Beastmaster, isn't it?
Yeah, we're doing Beastmaster. Yeah.
The fucking who did that one? Was that Don Ciccarelli?
That was
the guy that
Chris.
did Bubba Hotep. Same director.
Oh, the director? I'm not sure.
And
Megaforce did not get an 8. Just to underline for all of our listeners, Megaforce did not get an 8.
Why would it ever?
I don't know.
Oh man, Beastmaster, huh? I haven't seen that movie in a really long time.
Now
they killed that fucking tiger, by the way.
Good.
What do you mean good?
Tigers are dangerous.
Yeah, when you spray paint them black, they die. Don Coscarelli.
No,
Coscarelli.
Chris. It was Chris.
It was Chris?
Yes.
Yes, I directed that.
And he's already no other Chris.
What other Chris?
Woolner.
What
our guest from Megaforce.
Yes.
Our guest.
No. I was talking about the director, not who recommended it.
Oh, then you're doing Bujana voice.
I know, Chris. Because
how am I supposed to?
I don't know. Seriously, I know Chris Woolner.
Because kids get a free pass.
Kids get a free fucking pass. That's right. No, I know that he had an influence on you because I've been seeing his Facebook posts.
Oh, okay.
So.
Fine.
Yeah. Oh man, there's 2 ferrets in that movie. Fucking tiger.
Ferrets.
A hawk.
And those creepy things. Let's not spoil it.
Let's not spoil it.
That later.
He makes hawk noises.
Yeah. Best movie ever. I watched that every time it was on HBO as a kid.
I fucking loved that movie when I was a kid.
So it's official?
John Amos and loincloths. Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
Surprised he didn't trip over himself.
So I'll go ahead and rate that a 7.
James! I told you not to tell me you're doing that. I don't want to know about it.
It's at a 7.2.
I'm too exhausted to fight with you for forever. It's going to be forever. It's going to be a 48-hour show.
You know what the highest rating? You know what the most ratings it got?
The most common?
Yeah, 7.
Is it 7?
25%.
Well, I mean, it's at 7.2, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, no, it could be the other way around, though. It doesn't have to make sense. Highest rating demographic, females under 18, of course.
Really?
Yep. Lowest rated demographic, males under 18.
Because it's a rom-com.
Right.
They only use 3 to 5% of their brain, too.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. So, yeah. I know I was a bit down on your choice for this as a challenge, but it proved to be
better than you were expecting.
It proved to be intellectually and philosophically stimulating to me, and it still had some funny parts.
Yes, lots of funny parts.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm gonna take a piss. Take a piss.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what is that? That looks like worms. Oh, you're gonna vomit. Oh, you're gonna throw up.
See, you're bringing up all the weak comedy of the film.
Those are the little parts that for whatever reason, as a kid, I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and don't get me wrong, there are other more funny parts. I like the film entirely, but those are the little ones that I remember the most as a kid. Were those little parts like that? Like, I'm gonna take a piss. And you're gonna throw up. It tastes like horse shit, doesn't it? You know, things like that. I don't know why, but it just did. Anyway, all right. So your challenge to me is Beastmaster.
Yes. Now I am leaving for my residency at the university next week. However, I am told that they have improved internet there, and Thursday night there might not be anything going on. I don't know, but I might be able to record a short episode that night if I'm able to get connection.
Well, let's put it this way then. How about we don't record Beastmaster? We'll just record a short episode and just shoot the shit.
Okay.
I mean, just because to do a full review on a maybe internet, I can see if we lost that episode or it didn't turn out as well, I'd rather it be just us, rambling about nothing.
The only other option is we do Beastmaster like next Wednesday, or we just wait till I get back. But so the Beastmaster review may not be for a couple weeks.
Okay.
That's just as a disclaimer to the listening audience.
That's all right. I'm behind in posting our episodes anyway, so it'll be like...
by the time they hear this, we'll already have the Beastmaster episode out, so that should be fine.
Probably. Or they... No, I actually plan on posting all... The 2 backlogged plus this one tomorrow morning. So everyone's going to get 3 new episodes tomorrow morning.
Yay!
Okay, and that's for both shows. So there's 6 episodes that people are getting tomorrow morning.
Cool. All right.
So that should keep people busy, even if we, are gone for a couple of weeks, because it'll take them at least that long to catch up. So, all right.
All right.
All right, let's go ahead and end this shit.
This has been Moviesucktastic, episode number
8. Wow, very good. Look at that.
Thank you.
I'm getting text messages left and right. What's going on? Can you bring up my cell phone? It's charging. Thanks. I love you. Oh, all right.
That was from me.
That was from Scott. Anyway, all right, everybody. Please go to our website at Moviesucktastic.com and download all of our shows there. You can. It's essentially the hub for everything that is Moviesucktastic. You can get to iTunes from there. You can download our shows there. You can listen to them there. You can leave us reviews. We always appreciate that. Going back to our site, you can watch the show live from there, or you can go to livestream.com/Moviesucktastic. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You can email us at themovieguys@Moviesucktastic.com. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Moviesucktastic. You can go to our Tumblr page at moviesucktastic.tumblr.com. You can also just do a plain old search in your favorite search engine for Moviesucktastic, and we will show up everywhere. That's probably the best way to do it.
And
Google. The Google. I like to look at pictures of my ranch on the Google.
Not Mozilla Firefox.
Well, those are web browsers.
True.
Anyway.
Okay, man, kick it in, man.
Any parting words of wisdom?
No.
No. Okay.
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Kind of tastes like horse shit, doesn't it? All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week, or not.
Take a piss.
Gotta take a piss. Oh, you're gonna vomit. All right. Talk to you later.
Woof, woof.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, really?
Ow.